Excuse me? Excuse me? It's okay, please do it. I'll have my back across you. One more time, I will request panelists remain respectful of other panelists, and please sit and listen while a candidate is responding. Our next question for the night is to John Turnbull, and it will be given to you by Brock Tufts.
John, what federal government program are we missing in this riding, and what program would you like to see utilized more here?
Okay, let's explain what they did in Argentina when they had their crash. The union said, no layoffs. You got no money? Forget bringing your bond to the bank to get bills to pay us, which we'll then spend and you can tax it back. We'll take small denomination bonds as a currency, and you don't have to pay interest to the banks. So in the 80s, 6 provinces started paying all of their provincial employees with provincial bonds that they could use for hydro, taxes, medical, and licenses. Guess what? All their foreign debt got paid off in 2000. So, if you don't understand how reprogramming the Bank of Canada to work like it used to do it before 1974, and you don't understand how using bus tickets could do it too, and you don't understand how using time bank hours could do it too, we could use government bonds, $10 bonds that you can use for hydro, medical, licenses, and that's how we could pay off all of our foreign debt like Argentina paid off all of theirs. But why would we be as smart as them? I don't know. But so far I've been explaining this since 1985. Nobody gets it. But I keep trying. I'm an optimist.
Karen King, your response.
So the question was on federal government programs missing in the riding, and what I would suggest to you is that you do need a strong voice, someone who's going to stand up really strong and hard for you in Ottawa and bring the needs of this riding to Ottawa, and I would be that voice. Broadband is certainly something we've been hearing about. We've all experienced it as we drive around the riding. We know that we need proper cell service, not just so that we can connect with one another, but also for things like homework for our kids and healthcare and many other uses. It's become part of the infrastructure of our community, and infrastructure is all about building communities and networking and working and living together. So I would say that is number one. There's a Connect to Innovate program, $500 million available. I would be working hard to bring that here to Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle, your response.
Thank you. So one thing that I would really like to see improved upon and expanded is Medicare. We need to be adding on what should never have been left out in the first place, and that's dental care, that's optical care, and that's pharmacare. And again, there will be money saved if we put that all under the Medicare umbrella as it was meant to be. We have people who are suffering because they can't keep up with the treatments that they need. We have people who are ending up in hospital and adding more burden to our healthcare system because their conditions become acute. Or we have people who just frankly aren't getting any treatment at all. If people can't afford to go to the dentist, they don't go to the dentist. And that's something that we definitely need to be doing better as a country, and I would certainly like to be part of bringing that to our Medicare. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Michael, your response.
Yeah, thanks very much for the question. I think that having predictable and stable funding available for programs in our community that are executed by people who are on the ground, we've seen tremendous success with that. And historically, the Community Futures Development Corporations and the Eastern Ontario Development Program, we've seen great investment and great decisions made, great programs executed on business loans through that program. And from one end of the riding to the other, we've had tremendous success. It's a bit disappointing that that program has not been renewed, and that was a program that our Member of Parliament, Gord Brown, took full advantage of in leveraging federal dollars here in our riding. And we all saw the benefits of those programs, of those business loans and those investments. And that's in the in every sector. So I would hope that a program like the EODP could be renewed. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Lorraine, your comments.
Yes, I think, I would like to implement the guaranteed livable income, which is a citizen's dividend for every single Canadian. And we know that we have money. We just bought a pipeline, so we've got lots of it. We have, written off loans. Billions of dollars of loans to the private sector. So guaranteed livable income, which would bring people out of poverty, would change our discussion, it would change our dialogue, it would alleviate our fear so that we could focus on the issues that are before us. We advocate for universal pharmacare, we talk about universal daycare program. We have to ask ourselves as Canadians, why don't we have that? That's a great idea. So I think, getting people out of poverty so that we could talk and we can have a dialogue that is respectful and focused on the challenges before us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. And Joan, final comments.
Well, again, the bonds is the greatest idea I've ever seen to pop a nation out of poverty into affluence. And it worked for Argentina, and it can work for us. Look, I'll pay my tax for Army and police to handle strife. I'll pay my taxes for doctors and nurses who protect my life. I'll pay my tax for all engaged repairing road and sewer. I'll pay my tax for social servants helping out the poor. I'll even pay my tax for bureaucrats with no regret. I only object to paying tax for interest on debt.
Thank you, John. Our next question is geared more towards local and regional issues, and it is directed to Mary Jean McFall and will be asked by Sue Watt.
Mary Jean, if elected, what would your top 3 priorities for this riding be?
Thank you for the question, Sue. Again, I come back to the conversations that I've had at the door with constituents who are worried about the future in terms of the local economy. When you see Procter & Gamble planning to close in 2020, they're worried about the local economy. They're worried because their kids can't find well-paying jobs here in the area and have to leave town in order to be able to find those jobs. So ensuring that we do have all of the tools at hand to spur the local economy would be a top priority for me. I would say to you that as a lawyer practicing law in Brockville, I've seen the engine that small business is for the local economy, and certainly the Liberal government has reduced small business tax from 11 to 9% starting Jan 1, 2019. We've also undertaken incentives in the most recent economic statement to, again, allow us to be competitive with our American friends. I would say to you, too, that the second issue that I hear at the door is certainly about social welfare issues, affordable housing, the national housing strategy that the Liberal government has come forward with. I'd like to see that brought right to bear here in East Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes. You need look only to the Wall Street Village project just up the street from us that as a great example of what can and should be done. I'm proud to say that I had a little bit to do with that along the way when George Smith came to me to incorporate the company and help his team assemble some of the properties. So we've seen that, and I would like to see more projects like that come to bear, the grassroots projects that people undertake because they know the need is there. We also need to make sure that we are standing up for the issues that our folks have as regards our lower income earners in our communities, and the National Poverty Reduction Strategy will certainly help with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Jean. Michelle, comments?
Thank you very much. So I certainly I have heard and I know that affordable housing is a priority for us here in our riding. It's unfortunate that although investment has been promised by the Liberal government, most of it is kind of being dangled as a carrot for after the next general election, and we have needs right now. It's cold, it's winter, and we need emergency funding for that here right now. I also, again, want to focus on faster access for vets and their families to the services and benefits that they need. The time that they're waiting is far too long. They're suffering. They're having to pay out of pocket when they can't really afford it. And that's something that absolutely needs to be a priority here, and I look forward to advocating for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Michael, comments?
So thanks very much for the question. You know, to go back to my response to the last question about financing from the federal government for programs right here in our riding, and we've seen good success when we have collaboration between different levels of government. And my experience as a municipal councillor was part of successive councils having a vision to work with different levels of government, and working with the province. The municipality of Edwardsburg Cardinal was able to get site certification and approval and be advertised by the province of Ontario to the end of attracting, developing, building, and opening the new Giant Tiger Distribution Center, which brought 350 net new direct jobs and countless hundred indirect jobs. That comes from cooperation, it comes from partnership, and there's a real role for the federal government to play in concert with their provincial and municipal partners to make sure that we can get infrastructure projects and new employers here into our region. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Lorraine, comments?
I think some of the immediate needs that I see in our community, in fact, is our aging population and stress on the healthcare system. People concerned about how far their pension's going to go. People concerned about whether they can afford for parking at the hospitals in Ottawa. So healthcare is a priority. It is an absolute priority because we know our population is aging. This is a stress that we have, and we don't have the jobs in place for the youth to actually sustain all the costs that we're going to have to incur taking care of our seniors. So affordable housing, but of course employment. But I believe healthcare and care of our seniors is our first priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. And John, your comments?
Full employment for adults with bond bucks and time bucks, full employment for youth with bus bucks, and not wasting any money on global warming. Now, why did they change the name to climate change? Who knows? Global warming stopped, so now they want to have it both ways. Look, still fooled by trick to hide decline, still Justin leads the way. I tried to stop climate from changing on his resume.
Please.
Now, you people don't like being laughed at by someone who says I'm smarter than you and you're a bunch of morons. And I can understand how you feel. But just say it out loud. I want to stop climate from changing. I can understand from getting warmer or getting colder, but you want to stop it from changing. They made you into a stupid proposition from a previous rational one. If it was warming, it was good to stop it. But it's not warming, so now you just want to stop change. Duh.
Thank you, John. Mary Jean, final comments, please.
So, all politics are local, and we were asked about local issues. And I think we need to, stop and think about infrastructure investments, stop and think about the job creation programs we have here. I have some experience at EODP as a lawyer because I helped to do some of the loan deals for the small businesses that were using those programs. I understand the importance of it, and EODP is not being canceled. And that is certainly something that we need to make sure that we work really, really hard to preserve and maintain because it is a great program.